Normally, when we say next man up, we're talking about the roster. How does it pertain to the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we are right now. Josh, I feel like I'm in the same seat I was 3 months ago, right? He was here and he was gone. He was actually going to schedule to do media today in my place, but here we are again. But yeah, we'll just –
Lucky guy.
Yeah, we'll just, we'll just conjure some things up. I'll probably kind of take over most of the offensive duties here for a little bit. And obviously we got some guys that have been around a while that know how things are run, all over offense, defense, special teams, and kind of just do a quick reorg and go from there. I'm working through it right now, thinking through it right now, but I got to reorg it here before we throw it up tomorrow. That's for sure.
Obviously, you know Chris really well, have for a long time. How do you think he'll do in Minnesota?
Well, I mean, I think he's a really, really, really good coach, Josh. I think that, I coached against him a lot. A lot of games. Coached with him, for a number of summers with Great Britain. Obviously, this has been enjoyable. He's really at a high level. He really is at a high level, not just off. Really, really offense for sure, but not just offense because he's got so many games as a head coach under his belt. He I would say that, just kind of thinking back, he really gets his teams to play hard. They really come after you, both sides of the ball. He's a student of the game, so he's well prepared. He's organized. And I think there's some good talent there in Minnesota. I think that's part of, why he was excited to take that job. They're young, obviously youngest team in the league, but there's some skill and athleticism and size and some depth there too, I think. So it will be interesting to see how he does, but I think he'll do a good job. He's a hell of a coach.
And you expect that you guys will get any compensation back from Minnesota?
I don't think so, Josh. In fact, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I don't think that you're allowed to do that anymore the way you used to. But that's not a question for me. That's for Bobby.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Thanks, Josh. We'll go to Ryan Wallstad.
Hey, Nick, just change the subject briefly. The home road splits are very stark, shooting-wise, for just about everyone except maybe Kyle. I asked Pascal about it, and he kind of said it just feels like you're always away with the way the season is. So he wasn't really aware of it. I'm just wondering, do you feel like it's kind of related to, just simply the team wasn't playing that well early on when there were a lot of home games, and they're playing a lot better now with a lot of road games? Or is there anything to settling more in Tampa as well?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything to it. I think that, again, it's like, you go back and think about some of these games and like some of those early losses, like, I don't know, New Orleans, San Antonio. Those guys made every shot they took, and all of a sudden, it just seemed like it seemed way too far on one end of the spectrum. And now, some of the, I know level of shot contest has a lot to do with it, but I don't know. I just think that we were, for whatever reason, things just weren't going our way early, and I think that reading too much into any of that stuff is, well, it's fun to do, I guess, but I can't tell you that there's any difference.
Yeah, it's just that it stands out a lot, but I know there's a lot going on. Yep. It's not the rims are no good in Tampa or anything.
Maybe at the one end it looks a little shaky, but no.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll go to Michael Grange.
Hey, Nick.
What's up, Michael?
You've always put an emphasis on being able to generate turnovers, generate deflections, and was Fred someone who kind of fit into that right away, or did you kind of have to sort of work with him to get better at that? Or
no, I think that I think that there's an aggressive style we want to play, Michael, but that's natural for him, right? That's just instinctual to fit right into that, and he just, again, he's got really quick hands and great timing and craftiness, with when he goes, when he does, when he sees it, that he can get it, and when he does, all those kind of things. So that's just instinctual for him. Fits into the way we like to play, that's for sure, right?
Sure does. And then as a coach, and people talk about all-stars and stuff like that. It's not like Fred's scoring numbers aren't good, but what really seems to set him apart are his abilities as a defender and as a ball disruptor, I guess. Is that commonly known? Like, is there a way to have people appreciate that more when you're discussing, players and their overall attributes?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think this, Michael. I think that what his biggest asset is his competitive drive and the way he influences winning. Right now, what is that? Well, you can add up, probably a lot of things: his defense, his hands, his feet, his toughness, his big shot making, his ball handling. There's lots. His leadership. There's lots that go under that category. But I think that's what his biggest asset is. He's a winner.
It's always a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You're welcome.
We'll go to Doug Smith.
Good morning, Nick. How are you today?
Doing good, Doug. What are you doing?
Not much. I can't put my video on. I had cataract surgery. I'm wearing an eye mask, so
Okay.
I look gruesome.
Okay. Feeling okay?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna ask you a question you probably don't want to answer, but I hope you will. What does the fact that Nate got the Indy job, Griff was a finalist for the Chicago job, and now Chris is going on to Minnesota, what does that say about you?
Well, I think it says a lot about, we've had a lot of success, Doug. I think, you look at, I think it's pretty common in most sports, that I'm familiar with anyway, college basketball, the assistants that are working for top programs move on. NFL, certainly the coordinators that are working for the teams that are putting up wins and deep runs and numbers on that side of the ball move on to head coaching jobs. Trying to think what else I'm familiar with. I don't know how baseball, they usually bring them up through the minors or whatever, but and I'm not sure how it works in hockey quite yet, but I would assume it's similar, right? And I just think that's a reflective of the overall organization and what we've done. That's it.
But isn't it all reflective of you personally and the responsibility you give them, and that's the kind of angle I'd like to explore?
Well, I mean, listen, Doug, I see it as my job. I've always seen it as my job to try to get people to maximize, their career ambitions, right? I would always promote them, as I try to speak about them as when I get a chance, and whenever I get calls about them, I certainly try to promote them along. I don't think they would be here in the first place if I didn't really believe in them, right? I think we've been lucky that we've had so many guys, I think, with head coaching experience and guys I feel that, can be head coaches in the league. And yeah, I mean, we try to, if there's areas in their coaching they need some, polishing on, we give them a chance to do some of that stuff. I think it's good experience for them to coach, because you got to coach the whole game when you're the head coach, and sometimes in this league you can get kind of put in a silo of just you're an offensive guy, and maybe teams aren't looking for an offensive guy, or or you're a defensive guy and they need you don't want to be like so deep down that silo, I think, so that you can't coach all three phases of the game.
Great, thanks, Nick. I appreciate it.
Okay, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. We'll go to Steve Simmons.
Hi, Nick. Long
Hi,
time no
Steve.
speak.
Still no
I have
see
no idea how this stuff works. So if you're not getting a good look at me, I apologize.
I think it's you, Steve, but I hear you. I recognize your voice.
It's like those televised silhouettes when they cover up the guy's face.
That's right.
Considering your background as a guy that scrapped and clawed and went everywhere to get to the NBA and to get to the position you're now in, that you're now the guy that's getting people opportunities. What does that, further to Doug's question, what does that mean to you?
Well, I'm certainly, I'm just super happy for those guys, Steve. I think that, again, their career, their dreams of becoming head coaches in the NBA are important to me. And I want to help them get there. I think that you know, certainly from like Nate's standpoint, Nate was by my side for a lot of years and a lot of hours and a lot of just uh, absolutely doing everything he could to possibly help us win games at both Iowa and Toronto. Everything, you know, no job was too small. And Chris and I have a little bit different relationship in that we kind of duked it out and kind of this kind of mutual respect. We duked it out so many games in England and then in the D League. And then we got a chance to work together in Great Britain and really got to know each other a little better as well. And, you know, listen, I miss Nate coaching alongside him in the games, and Chris and I were developing a good rapport as well, just kind of, you know, just in game coaching. And I'll certainly miss that as well. But I think, again, not unlike the players, Steve, my goal is to try to get these people to reach their career goals.
For years, you know, the first interviews always seemed to go to Pop assistants, you know, who was working with him at any given time. Are you the new Pop?
Okay. No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all.
Fair enough.
Thanks, Steve. We'll go back to Michael Grange.
Steve. Hi, Steve. Nick, can you just maybe take us through a bit of the play-by-play as it relates to Chris? You know, we gave a very short but effective halftime interview on the broadcast, and next thing you know, he's working for someone else. So was that all in the works before the game, or obviously the talks had to have occurred before that? But what can you tell us there?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it did all happen really quick, Michael. You know, and I don't think I always say those things are never done till they're done, right? And we had a pretty good idea that would be Chris's last game and he'd be on the move today there. But again, just making sure it got all finalized and done is really it. It did just happen like in a matter of about, I don't know, 36 hours probably.
And did you guys say anything after the game in front of the team, or was there any kind of?
No, I mean, I didn't really, you know, again, it wasn't done. You know, when I left the arena last night, I was surprised it, I guess, came out and got done. Well, it's probably more surprised it didn't come out earlier than that, to be honest with you. But then when I left for home, I mean, I'd actually got home and went straight to bed, and I didn't know that it was even out because I did roll over about 1 a.m. or something, and I had about 50 or 60 text messages, and I said, "Oh, geez, I didn't even know it was out." So I knew it was out, and then officially done. So we met this morning with the team. Yeah, everybody obviously knew. You know, everybody knows. But just again, then met with some of the leaders of the team today to discuss, you know, plans going forward and or options going forward and things like that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Nick.
We'll go to Aaron Rose.
Hey, Nick. I'm wondering what Chris brought to the team. It seems like the offense has progressed a little bit this year. How much did he help with that?
Yeah, no, I think again, when we hired him, I think I said to you he's one of the best, if not the best, offensive minds in the league. So I certainly gave him a big runway to go with there offensively. I mean, it was my job for 5 years here, right? And I think there was some challenges this year with the new personnel and, you know, some of that to get the thing to where it is right now. But you're right. I think for the most part, the offense has generated a lot of the shots we want, and been good. I mean, from my standpoint, it was interesting because we obviously worked together for a long time, and I kind of have my vision of how I see the offense operating, and he has his, and we don't agree on all of it. And I kind of, I think when I got the head coaching job, I maybe trimmed a lot of some of that off of the offense. And when he came back in, he talked about it, and I agreed to kind of let it go back on, and because I wanted to see it the stuff that I'd trimmed off over the years for whatever reasons, based on personnel or teaching or learning time or whatever. And so it was good to see some of the old stuff we used to do, and then some of the new stuff that he had dealing with the teams that he had and players he had, which was good too. He had a bunch of different guys he worked with, and we could kind of say, hey, this is how he got player X the ball, and maybe we could do that with Pascal, or maybe we could do that with OG, similar to you did with, again, player X, Y, and Z, whatever. And it was good. So I'm going to have to get back over there and probably get my hands on the offense a little bit more here, especially in the short term.
Are there things as specific as you are willing to go? Are there things that you are going to take away from working with him that'll make you either, I guess, a better offensive mind, or will continue?
Hopefully. Yeah, I've always learned a lot from him, Aaron, a lot. And yeah, we learned some lot. I think our whole staff did. He was meticulous in his preparation, going into each and every game from that side of the ball, just really no stone unturned about how this guy played and that guy played, and this was the coverage when he was in, and this, and things that would counter some of that stuff. So I think that was a super high level we learned from him there. Yeah, there's things we'll learn for sure, and hopefully I'll be better. Hopefully I'm getting better all the time, Aaron.
Trying to become the next Pop.
Just want to be the best me I can be, Aaron.
That's good. Thank you.
See, one more hand for each day, Coach. We'll wrap up with William Liu.
Hey, Coach. So Pascal's playmaking is up this year. He's up from like 3.5 assists to almost 5 a game. His turnovers are down as well. What do you make of his progress in terms of his playmaking? And do you see even more, room for growth as he sort of continues on this trajectory? Yeah, I do. I mean, again, I think I would say just in general, William, I'm happy with his overall play. I just think that there's some bounce at both ends of the floor. Again, I think he's probably seeing a lot more bodies this year maybe than in the past, and he's getting off it. He's, he don't have much of a choice. Your choice is to throw it up against 2 or 3 guys or find the open man. And sometimes when you throw it up against 2 or 3 guys, it doesn't look very good out there and doesn't feel very good. And he's making the right play, and I think he's happy to do so. So that's good. And I think there is probably some more progression there as he gets, again, more reps. He becomes a little bit more decisive, right? Still looking for him to kind of grab it and go, right when it comes to him, play on the catch and go. And because I think, again, the more you hold and wait, the more the defense shrinks on you, and you start seeing more people in your way. So grab it and go, quick decisive decisions, and he'll just continue to improve, I think. And then I want to ask you about DeAndre as well. I was watching back over the tape, and it seems like he was running a lot of point for you guys last night. What have you seen from him, especially with the fact that Kyle has been out? You guys have needed that secondary ball handler a lot of the time. Yeah, he's kind of good utility player, right? He's also he's leading the league in dunks per shot attempt. I think he had 4 shots last night, and all 4 of them were dunks, I think. So he's got to be up there. Him and DeAndre Jordan, maybe. But no, he's a solid utility guy. He's got, a good kind of overall game. He can handle, he can drive it a bit. What he's really brought to us, I think, is some end of break finishing. When we get the ball and he's on a wing, he throws it in high gear and finds a good angle, and he's got us, and those buckets are like gold, to get a cheap layup at the start of a possession like that. Pretty good cutter. We found out he's also a good, tough defender. He's guarded some, we put him on Rubio the other night, and I know Rubio's always given us a lot of problems, and we kind of finally solved that one time because he really got into him and just went and guarded him. And last night he was all over the place. He's on Simmons some. He's guarding some bigger guys and able to guard some point guards too. So again, utility guy that can do a lot.